Americanism, not globalism, will be our credo. Then we can be assured that other nations will not treat America with respect, the respect that we deserve.
What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American Politics, back in with a new video, and today we're doing our 2022 governor's prediction for the month of April. Again, we're continuing the monthly trend of governor's predictions, Senate predictions, potentially a House prediction this month. Gotta see how some things go. But this, folks, is going to be my next governorship prediction, and there's been some major developments in a few states like Michigan, Wisconsin, even places like, you know, the Northeast, like Connecticut, possibly Rhode Island. It's a lot of interesting things happening. Now, before we continue with today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash like down below, subscribe, share it to friends, hit the little bell, and yes. And reminder, before I forget, of course, go follow that mysterious Twitter account description down below. Don't know who runs it, just go follow it. Also, go follow my Rumble page. It's very appreciated, and yeah. Also, I have a big announcement. I'm not going to say now, but it's going to be in May. There's going to be a major announcement incoming in May, so get ready for that, and yeah. It's going to just, you know, shake some things up, to say the least. Alright, no more promotions, alright? Let's get right into the video. So, this cycle is going to be a very unique cycle for Republicans, as there's going to be a lot of pickups for the Republicans in this cycle, and Democrats are potentially going to pick up maybe 2 governorships, while Republicans are going to pick up like at least 5 or 6. So let's get right into it. Of course, let's start with the no argument about it, no bullshit, safe Republican states. Again, don't gotta say much. Oklahoma, the people saying that the race is going to be within 10 points, just shut up. That is one of the biggest copes ever. Now, I don't like Kevin Stitt that much, you know, the stick. I'm not a big fan of him. But these people that are saying, like, you know, oh, Hoffmeister, you know, she could actually win because, you know, she used to be a Republican. And it's like, no, just shut up. All the polls are showing, like, yeah, the stick is going to win by at least 15 points. It's like, just stop it. Texas, I don't gotta say. I have made so many videos on Texas that I'm getting sick of talking with the same narratives. But, of course, Beto O'Rourke is going to get crushed, especially after what happened a couple days ago with a certain tweet he posted. He's done. He's going to lose by at least 15 points. It's going to be a landslide for Abbott. Of course, all these states are safe Republican, no question about it. Of course, Vermont, New Hampshire, you got, you know, Phil Scott of Vermont, Chris Sununu, New Hampshire, and yeah. Also, I'm going to put Iowa here. I just think that, personally, Democrats don't have a candidate in this race, and Kim Reynolds has been a fairly popular governor. It's just Democrats really don't have a good candidate. It's gonna be a landslide for Reynolds. It's a matter if she wins by 9 or 10 points or if it's by 20. I'm leaning towards to be like 11-point victory or so. But as of now, I have the state safe Republican. Also Florida. Guys, the recent polling out of Florida with like proved one thing. That, oh, Charlie Crisp can win. That's debunked after the recent polls. Crisp is getting crushed, let alone Fry. It's like, you really believe that that garbage pollster, that's the listener group, which, by the way, I'm making a video on that group because they're the one group saying, look at this, Charlie Crisp is up by 15 points. You're full of shit. Just go away. But as of now, Republicans are going to win this race by, at minimum, 10 points, no matter who the candidate is for the Democrats. Now, the safe Democrat states, do I gotta say much? Colorado, Republicans don't have anybody. New York, again, I made a video on New York a couple days ago. It does depend if Cuomo does anything crazy. I don't think he will, but if he does, well, we'll have to revisit this state. Of course, Maryland, look, I know that the former, I believe it's the Attorney General of Maryland, if I'm not mistaken, is running, or Secretary, somebody. It is a statewide official, but it's one of those things, though, I don't think they have, you know, the same appeal as somebody like, you know, Larry Hogan. So, again, if Republicans, get a Larry Hogan type here, somebody that can do exactly what he did, it could be within 10 points, but as of now, I think Democrats going to win this race. Again, Larry Hogan not be on the ballot, I'm not a fan of him the most, but he's still, compared to most Republicans in Northeast, decent on some issues. Just sucks that, we're going to lose this race, but it is what it is. And same thing for Massachusetts. If Charlie Baker ran, he would have won by 20 points. But again, he's not running. And just like Maryland, I cannot think of a serious, statewide official in Massachusetts that's running. I can't think of anybody. So again, if there's somebody like a main candidate in Massachusetts or Maryland, just tell me down below. But from what I do know, I don't think they're going to win these races. I don't think it's going to be within 10 points. It's going to be a blowout for the Democrats. So, yeah, that's that out of the way. And there's a lot of other interesting states we got to get into. So, before we talk about kind of like the more competitive states, we got to get rid of the, elephants in the room. I'm starting, of course, with Illinois. Look, the prick is going to win by like 8 or 9 points, all right? That is not that good compared to, how Biden did in the state. I mean, he only won by 16 in 2018. Compared with the national environment, yeah, that's not too good. And Republicans do have a couple good candidates. Again, it's a matter of who's the nominee, but I think anybody with a half a brain that gets the nomination, it's going to be within 10 points. I mean, the prick is struggling to be above 50% in the polls. It's like, it's in Illinois, you're struggling? So, yeah, I think Illinois will be a likely Democrat seat. A very similar thing in Minnesota. Again, this is one of those states where, it has a very cursed voting cycle. I mean, Waldo, Tim Walz, I call him Waldo, he is going to win by like 6 points. Now, the state Senate or in the state House are both going Republican. It's just a matter of, how badly they lose the governorship. So I think Waldo still wins by like 5 or 6 points. But it's a disappointment that the state legislature goes red, but the governorship doesn't. But as of now, I have it as a likely Democrat seat. So that's kind of the, obvious Democrat states. As for, Republicans, I do think Ohio is going to be going to Republicans by like 8 or 9 points. Look, DeWine sucks, but he's been getting better on the issues, and I think he's going to win by a decent margin. I don't think Democrats have anybody running, like a serious, challenger to DeWine, or whoever the nominee is. It could be Rinchetti, but yeah, I don't think Democrats have a serious nominee that's going to run. Well, maybe the Cincinnati mayor's running, but either way, DeWine's going to win by like 6 points. So it's a matter of who the nominee is, it's a matter of how big they win, but it's going to be a likely state. So yeah, that's kind of the obvious, no matter what you do, you can't really dispute these states. Now, there's a couple other interesting ones, especially in the Northeast. We'll get to that in a second. So let's just go coast to coast, all right? Let's start in Oregon. I made a video on this last month, go watch it. There's an independent candidate named Betsy Johnson who's getting a lot of support from Democrats. And by the way, not just, some bullshit poll. No, she's getting endorsements by serious Democrats statewide. Like, big names in Oregon politics. I think the state chair endorsed her. It's like there's a lot of people, big names in Oregon endorsing her. I think the Secretary of State endorsed her. A bunch of state legislators did. And a bunch of bigger names have endorsed her. And she's going to siphon off a lot of votes from Democrats. Now, it is a matter of how much she does screw over the Democrats. And with Oregon's voting history, I mean, Brown only won by 7 points in 2018. And if she was the nominee again in 2022, again, she's term limited, she would have got crushed. But for now, I do think it'll be within like 3-4 points. So I have it as lean Democrat. If the independent candidate Johnson can get some more support, she could seriously screw over the Democrats some more. But I don't think she's going to do that much, to make it, a Republican state as of now. Now, Nevada. The sis is running for re-election and he's done. The governor of Nevada, Sisolak, I call him the sis, he's going to lose. He's been a very unpopular governor. And the shutdowns to the casino industries in Las Vegas, in Nevada in general, have doomed him. He's done. No matter what you do, he's done. He's a one-termer. And you look at the polls, it's even, you know, Dean Heller is doing solid against frickin' Sisolak. Now, again, Lombardo is going to be the nominee, but even if it's Dean Heller who sucks, he would still win by like a point. For Lombardo, I think he's going to win by like 3-4 points as of now. He's a strong candidate, polling pretty good, and getting some solid fundraising numbers. So it looks like Lombardo is going to be the nominee and is going to win. Now with Arizona, I'm not even touch upon this. Katie Hobbs, she won on a fluke in 2018. Let's get that out of the way right off the bat. That was a blue wave year, and that was bullshit how she won. But also, Kari Lake has surged in the polls. Every single poll is showing that, hey, she's doing pretty freaking good. I mean, all these people are saying that, oh, she's unelectable. There's no way Kari Lake could win. Well, she's proved everybody wrong so far. And also, Katie Hobbs is just a weak candidate. She's a Bernie bro. And we all know what happens to Bernie bros in Arizona usually doesn't go too well. But again, it is Arizona. I do think it'll be like a 4-5 point win for Lake. Now, it could be safe Republican if, like, you know, Katie Hobbs keeps, you know, blowing it. But I think as of now, a reasonable prediction, like a 4-5 point victory for Kari Lake. Now we got New Mexico. This is one of the toughest states to predict this cycle. Now, I know Grisham is going to be the nominee for the Democrats, the incumbent, but she is one of the most unpopular and one of the weakest incumbents this entire cycle. Republicans have Mark Rinchetti, one of the best candidates, you know, nationwide, and he's been polling decently against Grisham. I mean, you know, one poll had, you know, frickin' Rinchetti down by a point. It's like, yeah, something tells me there's something happening in New Mexico, especially with all the energy issues in New Mexico. I do personally think, all right, again, based on what I'm seeing, Ronchetti, if things stay the way they are, he's going to be the next governor of the state of New Mexico. Look, the polling is showing it. The fundraising numbers are showing it. I think he's going to win. Again, I fully endorse him. He's a giga chat on all the issues, and I think he's going to win. I mean, he only lost by like 5 points in 2020. It's like, he does way better than anybody expected. So I do think he's going to win it by like a half point as of now. Now, Kansas, do I gotta say much? Like, Kelly is gonna lose, alright? The governor's gonna lose. She's gonna lose by like 3-4 points. I mean, that's the bare minimum. Now, Derek Schmidt, who the Republican nominee is, he's a decent candidate. Now, it's a matter of how much he wins by. He's gonna win, though. It's just a matter of how much, and yeah. So, as of now, I think Derek Schmidt wins by like 3-4 points. A lot of Schmidts this cycle. Yeah, he's going to win by like 3-4 points. Against Kelly, I mean, Kelly won on a fluke. She won with like a third-party vote and like, you know, blue wave. You and Chris Kobach having a bad campaign. It's like, yeah, that's why she won. Now we have Wisconsin, my beautiful home state. Now, we had a lot of interesting things happen the past week. I mean, Tommy Thompson may be entering the race. You got Rebecca Clevefish, you got Kevin Nicholson, Timothy Ramthun. It's a shit show. Wickman dropped out. But either way, Tony Evers, the clown, he's done. He is done as Wisconsinite. He won on a fluke. Look what happened in 2018. Go look up Milwaukee 2018 election. You'll find some very interesting things about what happened. So even so, he's going to lose. I mean, he's unpopular, and he won on a blue wave year. That's why he won. Again, go look up what happened in 2018. It's mind-boggling. Now we get Michigan. Now, this is a hard race to predict. Again, I think Republicans are going to pull it off. I personally think it's going to be a close race. But I think Whitler is going to lose. Now, the question is who the nominee is. I personally think James Craig would win by like 2 or 3 points. However, it looks like Trump's going to be endorsing Tudor Dixon. If you saw the rally last night, you'll see what I mean. But again, I think Craig is the best candidate. I mean, when Trafalgar pulled the race like a couple months ago, he was winning by 5 to 6. It's like, why Craig shouldn't get the nominee? I don't know. He should be the nominee whatsoever. But it's like, whatever. Either way, I do think Republicans win this race by at least a half point. Whitler, the COVID stuff killed her. That was the last straw for a lot of voters in Michigan. Now we get Georgia. Georgia. David Perdue is going to win. All right, even Brian Kemp's going to win. That's a matter of how much. And I think personally what realistically ended Stacey Abrams' campaign was the mask thing. I mean, when she went into a school unmasked, forced all the kids to wear masks, that's when her campaign died. So as of now, either way, I think David Perdue is going to be the nominee. But I do think either way, Republicans are going to win this race handily by 3-4 points. Potentially 5 to 6 points. Now, if that loser, Hazel, the libertarian, force a runoff again, there's going to be some serious problems. Again, he's the clown that, forced a runoff in 2020. He's a loser, he's an incel, he's a pleb. So, yeah. If that doesn't happen, though, I do think Republicans will win this race by 2 to 3 points. Now, I don't think there's runoff, though. Maybe. I think it's only for federal races. But either way, if that libertarian screws us over again in Georgia, I'm gonna be pissed. So, yeah. Now we get Pennsylvania. This is where one of the Shapiros live. Not related to, Ben Shapiro. It's, Josh Shapiro. Now, Josh Shapiro is a progressive. As in cringe. So, that's all you need to know about her. Or him. I mean, that clown is awful. Republicans do have a good candidates. I mean, they got Barletta. Now, Mastrino, I don't want to win. He's just garbage. But, yeah. Either way, I think Republicans have decent enough candidates in this race where I think either way they win by like a half point. Again, there's a lot of crap that, very suspicious things in Pennsylvania, but from what we do know from fundraising data, Republicans are doing a pretty good job. Party registration data, same deal. Looking decent for the Republicans. Now we got Connecticut. And this is one of those races where I personally think Stefanowski is going to pull off a Youngkin. I am firm with this. Look, Ned Lamont's in big trouble with the government. The federal government's investigating his ass for some corruption stuff. And it's some pretty serious stuff. Like, not like, he left the toilet open like 5 years ago. No. Serious corruption when it comes to federal funds. And Stefanowski almost won in 2018. He, just like usual, he got screwed over. So, yeah, Stefanowski, I think, is going to win. And he was a good candidate in 2018, especially in a red wave year. I think he's going to win. Lamont's not that popular. Again, my correspondent from Connecticut, James, has, told me, clarified that, hey, he's only popular because of COVID. He flat out said that after all this COVID stuff, his approval is garbage. And we're starting to see that. So, Connecticut, I do believe, as of now, will go to Stefanowski. Now, Rhode Island, the only reason I don't have it as, safe Democrat is this race has always been competitive. It's always within, 10 points. Unless there's a huge third-party vote. Which sometimes there is, but most of the time there isn't. So as of now, I do think Rhode Island will be within 10 points. And historically has always been that. Also, I don't believe the incumbent's running. Or I think, is he? I don't know. But point is, there's a bunch of Democrat candidates, all right? It's a tire fire primary. And he's struggling to win the primary, the Democrat incumbent. Now, Republicans have some candidates that are potentially going to run. If they do, it will be within 10 points. So as of now, I have Rhode Island as likely Democrat. Now, Maine, look, LePage is a Chad. Let's get that out of the way right off the bat. He's a Giga Chad. But as of now, I think the clown up there, Mills, is going to win by like a quarter of a point. As of now. Now, if LePage keeps running a good campaign, keeps making the race closer and closer and closer, I think he's going to win. But as of now, I'm a big fan of him, but I just don't think he's going to win, another term. Again, he was a governor of Maine for a while, but as of now, I don't think he's going to win. It's gonna be close, though. It's gonna be a very competitive race. One of the closest in the country. And, yeah. This, folks, is my current governorship prediction. If you enjoyed this video, which I hope you did, smash the like button down below. Subscribe, share with your friends, hit the little bell, and yes. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video. Godspeed to all of you.